My people, Otamio were alright, oh. Otamio were alright, oh. Hey, my correct people are throwing salute. I beg, you get one video where they trend now. Then say, what's with this man name? Wole Soyinka, yes. My people, they say, no be to carry gray hair, full head, and gray beard means say you get wisdom or sense. Picking where you born, if you get sense and wisdom pass you, now grace from God. Then say Wole Soyinka, they invite and go South Africa, you know, maybe they want honor him or something, I care less. Now him income, they come ask him to talk about himself and all that. Now he come enter P2B, talk, enter obedience. After I say obedient movement at GBAJUE. If you want really know the GBAJUE, INEC and the judiciary will not do follow constitution. Now those ones, and the party where you belong to, now then be the GBAJUE. My people might not talk much, but I talk too much, then it go be like say I go they insult somebody because of time you were right. For this one, we're here. So if not say una go P2B and the obedience, one suppress us. Look, una make una ready to transformer. Una know what's in there. I go soon for the next update. When I watch this video, waiting arise and sit down for this matter, then talk on top. Thank you.
Accusing the leadership of the Labour Party of being aware that their party's presidential candidate, Peter Obi, lost the February 25th election. The Nobel laureate was speaking at an event titled The Lives of Wole Soyinka, a dialogue organized by Africa in the world. Soyinka used the Yoruba phrase, GBAJUE, which means obtaining by deception, to describe the actions of the Labour Party, stating that they are trying to force a lie on Nigerians, especially the youth, that Obi won the election. Let's take a listen.
And so I could say categorically that Peter Obi's party came third, not even second. And that the leadership knew it. But they wanted to do what we call in Yoruba, GBAJUE. That is, you know, you have force of arms. You also have force of lies. And it was gearing up towards violence. They were going to send, some of the hardliners were going to send crowds, young people into the streets to demonstrate. I'm always ready to be among such demonstrators, but only on the banner of truth. Not of lies, not of deceit. Peter Obi achieved something remarkable there, that he broke that mold. Yes, however, he did not win the election.
All right, Dr. Abati, that phrase, GBAJUE, got me. I mean, you know that Wole Soyinka has always been quite vocal about Peter Obi's, emergence as whether it is a third force or not. But before I come to you, let me take some tweets. This is from Omar, who wrote, "No one can be seen to say categorically that someone didn't win an election if the person cannot show proof of what he asserts. It is on Prof to show us why his assertion is true. Was he in the 36 states monitoring the elections, or his agencies were on a report affirmed so?" Well, Lawrence also wrote, "Why does Wole Soyinka feel so comfortable saying terrible things against Peter Obi? He claims Peter Obi was mobilizing youth for protest, while in truth, Peter Obi was the one telling the youth to keep away from protests. The youth are blaming Peter Obi for not allowing them protest. Wole Soyinka is saying Peter Obi was mobilizing the youth to protest." I mean, Lawrence's tweet was quite apt. We do know that Peter Obi has been telling everyone to stay calm until Judgment Day. Judgment Day has come and gone, and we have not seen any violence. So, I mean, it is quite worrisome to hear Professor Wole Soyinka make such assertions. Dr.
It's
Abati.
very straightforward.
Yeah.
The obedience,
Yes.
those characters on social media who give Peter Obi a bad name, they finally lost Professor Wole Soyinka. You recall that before now he had complained about this obedience, some people call them some other names, operating on social media and forcing Peter Obi down everybody's throats. And he said, look, at that time, that Peter Obi was even his favorite candidate because he wanted change in Nigeria, and he thought somebody else, new blood, should provide the leadership. Many of the other people who in fact supported Peter Obi, they backed away from him because of the behavior of these characters, you know, who abuse everybody, who think their own version of the truth is the only version of reality. So that's the evidence you have seen there. And you could see Okendebe, the interviewer, you know, feeling, well, where is Prof going in this matter? Yeah. That's number one. The second part, of course, is that Professor Wole Soyinka is just expressing an opinion. His opinion does not matter in this matter. The Court of Appeal has ruled, right? The way the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal handled the matter. Mr. Peter Obi himself and the other petitioner, the People's Democratic Party and Atiku Abubakar, they have said they are going all the way to the Supreme Court. What the law provides for is that it is the apex court in presidential matters that we have the final say. And I think, you know, while it is normal, natural for people to react to court rulings, in this particular matter, it is the Supreme Court that will tell us the truth of it.
Yes,
so Professor Soyinka is not in a position, because he's not a shamanist, he's not a futurologist. He once wrote a play called Requiem for Futurologists. So he himself cannot act as a futurologist in the matter. So we all should just calm down and wait for, you know, the Supreme Court. And when he says GBAJUE, deception, right? Well, there are some other commentators who will say Professor Soyinka is accusing Peter Obi and the Labour Party of GBAJUE of deception. But some people will say, in fact, the entire election was an act in Grant GBAJUE, a whole deceptive operation. You know, there are people who, even if you wake them up 10 years from now, they will still say 2023 general election was complete GBAJUE, quoting Professor Soyinka. So it's not just about Labour Party, you know, and it's on the basis of that that we are saying that there are certain reforms that will still need to take place. There are certain consequential steps that will have to be taken by the National Assembly with regard to the electoral framework in Nigeria. So that phrase, GBAJUE, don't limit it to where Professor Soyinka has located it. Some people will tell you it's an entire GBAJUE that we are dealing with.
Yeah, well, the election, I mean, it has gone to the Supreme Court, and we'll wait for the Supreme Court judgment. I mean, obviously, his statement has elicited a lot of reactions. Well,
what Professor Soyinka said, because that's why I'm quite, you know, as a young person in Nigeria, Professor Soyinka as a citizen is well within his rights to decide to choose or support a particular political party. However, I believe because of his status as a statesman, a lot of people would expect that he would be he will be non-partisan to at least a very large extent. I don't know what this obsession with Mr. Peter Obi and the Labour Party and the obedience is with Professor Wole Soyinka. What really occurred? Why is he so... Don't forget that there's a first runner up in the person of Atiku Abubakar. They're not talking about him. He's the third place position who seems to go their ox such that their press statements, you know, what is really going on? And so I just say that in terms of that, he has a right to his opinion. But I also think very lastly, it is unfair to paint the obedient movement, which has been praised in many ways for changing the political landscape of Nigeria in many ways, as being, you know, just with really bad names, because in most movements, they're extremists. But you cannot base an entire movement on the extreme few and say that all of the obedience are extreme. That's why I don't agree with that.
I know you wanted to make a comment on
GBAJUE. I have a lot to say, Oji, that time will not permit me. That's the problem with what's trending.
Hey,
Welcome back again. At first, let us start. I think, like Aya said, it is wrong to paint the obedient movements. There are other people of a certain political party that harass people too. In fact, I had a taste of my own. It's just because I didn't take the case up. When people from this known political party harassed me in an elevator in Transcorp Hotel in Abuja.
Sorry about that, Rufai.
I guess they harassed me in an elevator. So when people say all sorts about the obedient movement, and constantly, if you go check my social media, they are constantly casting aspersions and saying all sorts of stupid things. If it's not somebody I have a very strong mental strength.
You do, Rufai.
Yes.
You do.
Every single day I'm being abused. So when people say it's the obedient movement, we don't tell the truth in this country. And that's why the country...
A whole whole movement.
So that's why the country has become a grand scene of GBAJUE and GBT. And concerning what Professor, he has a right to say whatever he wants to say, but please, let's be balanced for the sake of God. The real GBAJUE in all of this election is INEC that promised something and didn't do it. Yeah. The INEC that told a lot of Nigerians to come out, that we have video footages of Mr. Festus Okoye constantly coming out to say these methods will be used, and nothing was done. That's the real GBAJUE in this. So let's call a spade a spade. Oh, the problem is we don't like to call a spade a spade.